This is episode 326, No Laugh Track Podcast. I'm Justin Severson, the host. We are here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis in the middle of a polar vortex. It's balmy in here. It's great temperature in here, but outside I think it was -6 is what I saw when I was picking up Joe Larson outside his hotel to join me today on the podcast.
That's right, and -6 right now is balmy compared to what it was. It was the wind chill there, so it was -55 degrees.
Yes, sir. So let's get this brutal weather talk out of the way. Well, first of all, where did you come from last? Like, where were you before you came to Minnesota this week?
I was in New York, which is bad right now too. So it's not. I mean, it's just it's times like these where I'm like, why did I choose Los Angeles? Mm-hmm. I could have done this right.
Right. You're right. I checked the weather today in New York, by the way, to see what you're missing there.
Yeah.
12.
Oh, listen, that's a good 20 degrees warmer. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm. So when did you, I am curious though, did someone bring it to your attention? Like, dude, you're going to Minneapolis next week. I've seen the forecast. Or did you just get off the plane and then, was it the announcement of the pilot?
Yeah.
Was that when you found out how cold it was going to be?
Well, yeah, because he said they were going to land in like sub-zero temp. And he was like, with temps are -27, and with the wind chill, it's I don't know why he can never. I think pilots are bad at reading. I think that's what it is, because they can never seem to get out the words.
You don't think
he's handing the paper to the co-pilot who's reading it for him and then whispering into his ear the words. It's -55, and I was like, how the fuck do you land a plane in -55?
Right.
I don't know.
Are we going to skid off the runway of black ice?
Exactly. I know. I can't drive in this weather. I don't know how you drive a Boeing 767.
No, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe that was him. They always try to do a little corny. Not a lot of times they'll do some corny joke. Like
yeah.
Maybe he was trying to ad lib.
Yeah, I'd love a room of pilots at an improv class. Just. I need a place. Chuck E. Cheese. Okay. Yes. And it's the one show, one sketch, 2 hours.
Yes. Have you been reporting back to family back home? But that you're still alive and haven't frozen.
Yeah, I do have to report back. That's how it works. I also just call them in chat, but yeah, it's a lot of checking in, reporting. Coming to you live from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Exactly. Well, you were. It shows how much you love your family that you didn't bring them with.
Yeah. Well, I'm bringing them on a cruise next month. I'm working a cruise ship, so I'm bringing them along. So that'll be fun. We'll go down to the Bahamas, swim on some beaches, have a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you done cruises before?
Done a couple. I just it's just here and there. I do one a quarter sort of thing to get out of Dodge and bring the kids, and I book them over spring break and midwinter break and a couple during the summer so that they can go on them.
Will you adopt me, please?
Yeah, come on in. I've never had a boy. Come here. Tell me all about yourself.
I've never had a father. Oh, no, that's good. No, that's good. I have a father. I'm going to see him tonight.
Oh, good. Excellent.
As a matter of fact, today's my sister's birthday, so we're getting together for her birthday tonight. And we'll see mom, dad, sister.
It's a Severson birthday,
that's
huh?
That's right, yep. Their little dog that I can only imagine had to walk out with boots on this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that they do the booties for the salt, right? But then I imagine out now they just got to make sure that this thing doesn't die, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, they do. My parents do have a little dog, and they put a little jacket on it and the little boots.
I wonder if dogs know how good they have it. Like, because every other animal in the animal kingdom, not only do we not give them boots or not give them jackets. But we just fucking kill and eat them. Just horrible conditions and murder them. I think that the next time the dog acts up, you should just bring it to a slaughterhouse and just be like, see? See what could be your life? We shape it up, little sonny.
Put on the Animal Planet.
Yeah,
On
exactly.
TV.
Yeah. This is what you could have. This is nature.
You know what? Since we brought that up, since we went here, there's a question I was asking people maybe about a year ago on the podcast. But when you're watching, and I'm going to ask you right now, when you're watching like one of those nature shows, and it's like the it's a lion against a zebra.
Yeah.
Are you cheering for the zebra to get away or the lion to maul the shit out of that zebra?
Wow, that's a tough question. But I'm going to go with I'm less interested in that. I want to see the one where the alligator attacks the lion and the lion reattacks the alligator.
Yes.
I want a fair fight, you know?
Yeah, okay.
I'm like,
okay.
I want this sort of Brock Lesnar sort of fights, and a gorilla, and be like, I think it'd be awesome, I have thought for years that the UFC should expand to animals. I think full gladiator. I think that'd be fantastic.
Would gorillas have to wear headgear and gloves?
No, they'd have to wear the gloves, of course.
Gloves, okay.
But I think the hilarious part would be because the only way you could get the ape, gloved up and ready is you'd have to put him under. So you'd have to trank him, right?
True.
And then the start of the fight would just be Brock Lesnar sitting in a corner like, when the fuck is this thing going to wake up? Nobody knows when it's going to wake up,
With his back to it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or what if you tranked both of them and then you put them both in the ring? And then the best part would be you'd have to call it at some point because it has to be humane. Both animals have to live, right?
Yeah, okay.
So that means that there's just going to be dudes off to the sides with trank guns ready to put this thing down after a ground and pound, a gnarly ape ground and pound.
Ground and pound.
Yeah.
That's not used enough. It's not used enough.
Ground and pound?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first time I heard it, I did not think it was a fighting term. I was like, wow, all right, don't say that on Mom.
You thought it was something that teenage boys do with the door closed?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a ground and pound. Drop to the ground, pound it out, call it a day.
I remember like when I was a teen, late teens, early 20s, still, whenever I was living back with my parents, maybe it was like the summer of college, and a buddy calling me, this is, pre-cell phone days, calling to the house phone, answering the phone, like, hey, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, just cleaning my room. My friend Brian was convinced that every time I said cleaning my room, that meant...
Yeah. Are you OCD? You're cleaning your room like 3-4 times a day. Jesus. Joe List had a great bit about he just renamed masturbating, napping, and something else. He called masturbating yoga and napping. It's a very, very funny bit. I butchered all of it right there.
Well, I can one up you and butcher someone else's. Andy Erickson, who I just saw is going to be featuring here next week at Acme. I don't doubt she does it anymore, but did a joke about talking about getting high, but calling it being confused.
Yeah,
and that way she could tell her mom about it.
Yeah.
I was over at my friend's house, got so confused last night. You can just tell them, then it opens it to tell everything that you did.
Totally.
Saying, well, I was confused.
Yeah,
that's why things changed.
Yeah, I like it. Doesn't exactly work in a court of law. No, Your Honor, I was just real confused.
Yeah,
I don't.
Still confused, as a matter of fact. Still confused. So, Joe.
Yeah.
We should talk about your new album.
Oh, yeah. It's called...
When did that come out?
It came out Tuesday.
This week?
I
know. Congrats.
Thank you. I'm pretty happy about it. It's very funny, and it's mostly just covers of songs. Done.
I listened to it. It's a lot of Trump stuff.
Yeah. It's actually me covering Trump speeches. I just do them in different voices. I do all of Trump's speeches as Bill Cosby. Listen. Yeah, it's a bad Bill Cosby. It's gonna be fantastic.
I did listen to it, and I actually didn't hear any politics.
No,
for the record.
No, there's no politics in it. Politics are exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get behind it.
No.
The amount of work you got to do it good is insane. And it changed, because there's great political comedians out there.
Yeah.
But,
let's just talk about that for a second. Last week, Matthew Broussard.
Broussard, yes.
And he, first of all, he's going to be on Fallon tomorrow night.
Oh, nice.
Keep an eye out for that. But also, I think being on this podcast leads to that.
Yeah. Oh, great. So I got Fallon next week?
Nice. Just be sure and check your messages when we're done.
I'll call Michael right now and see if he got me that date.
You never know. But but I talked to Matthew about he's been doing that. He had a couple of appearances on that new Comedy Cellar show on Comedy Central.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And were you on there at all?
I'm going to be on it soon. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How are you at doing a topical humor?
I can do topical stuff.
Okay.
I just don't give a crap about politics.
Okay.
Really. That's and I feel like digging into the political world is just it's you can either make superficial jokes about it and everybody gets it, or you can go real deep into it and then you lose all of the everybody that doesn't know about the thing. You know?
Right.
And so it doesn't interest me. But topical, yeah, I can dig into something that's weird and stupid. And right now,
good. So that they're coming back with the show, and you're gonna. What do you know so far?
What do I know so far?
What do you know?
I just talked to what's his name, the producer, and they're gonna be in there taping, and we'll be in there a couple weeks. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So.
I like that show.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like the fact that getting comedy in front of people's eyes, the more the better. Especially when it's brand new.
Yeah, it's a fun format. It's a fun format. I like the new bit part of it more than like the round table stuff.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, because the round table stuff is like it's just who's loud.
Yeah, I mean it's almost kind of filler.
Yeah, totally. So.
Yeah, I agree. No, let's go back to talking about emotional support. Your new album, your second one.
Second one.
You have the greatest hits out of the way.
The greatest hits was debut album, greatest hits, and then we're on to emotional support. Which first one I went with a funny name, and the second one I just went with one of the bits in it. Recorded in Seattle, and. It came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy about it. I did it with 800 Pound Gorilla, which they're awesome. They kick ass as a label, and super professional dudes. It was fun, man. It's a good album.
You went back home.
Back home, yeah.
Record.
Yeah. Yeah. They were like, "Do you want to do it in New York?" And I said, "I always do." At least one weekend in Seattle every year, and I do my benefit show in Seattle, and then I do the weekend, and so I was like, it was about time for me to go back anyway. So I was like, yeah, let's just do it there.
Okay.
And I do my benefit show first. It was kind of weird because I really wanted to push this album, but I also needed to push the benefit show because the money goes to every year to a benefit show called Giggles and Grit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about.
Yeah, it's now in New York and Seattle.
Okay.
And so we're doing those two cities, and we'll hopefully we're going to grow it a little bit bigger in both of them and then move to other markets as well.
Wow.
Initially it was just we were raising money for families that had to move for their kids' cancer treatment. Because in Seattle Children's Hospital is the largest children's hospital in the Northwest. So if you're in Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Oregon, you're going probably to Seattle. So that means that although there's other things, there's cheap housing and all that other stuff there, you still have bills back home, and you don't, you got to pay a car payment and a house payment, and you have to lose your job and have to relocate. And one of the saddest things I ever saw was walking through Seattle Children's Cancer Hospital, and a little kid was there getting their chemo all alone. Their parents weren't there because they had to work to get, and so they couldn't be there with their kid. It's horrific. It broke my heart. So I was like, I can do something about this. And so I started doing these comedy shows where we just take a bunch of money, we find a family that has had to relocate or fell on tough times because of this cancer treatment, and we just dump a bunch of cash in their lap and walk away.
Are you part of the choosing of that?
Yeah, So the first year was.
That's got to be tough.
Well, it's been easy.
Really?
Only because people come out of the woodwork that I have some sort of kind of knowing who they are.
Okay.
The first year was my wife's from Big Sandy, Montana, and was a person she went to high school with who ended up becoming her cousin, because in Big Sandy, everyone will eventually become cousins.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
All right.
because one of her aunts married her dad, sort of thing. Anyway. Their kid was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and they had to move to Seattle for 9 months for cancer treatment. So I was like, okay, great. I'll just do a benefit for them. And it was the first year, and it was just a wonderful love fest. And it was such a cool thing where it was palpable in the room. Just all these people come together to have a great time and do a great thing for these two people.
That's awesome.
For these three people. And it felt so good to do that. And I was like, okay, I gotta do this again. And so the next year, there was a friend of a friend of a friend who heard about it, and were like, you have no idea, we're coming out from Idaho and this and the other. And I was like, great, here's a bunch of cash. And then this year we changed it around a little bit because a friend of ours, their sister lives out there, and she was diagnosed with ALS. Mm-hmm. She has two boys. I think they're 8 and 10 at the time, and right after her ALS diagnosis, her husband passed away very immediately. So she was left all alone with two boys with ALS, so she will soon not be able to walk, and she's living in a 3-story townhouse.
Oh, boy.
And so we raised, I think, $30,000 to help her move out of that place and retrofit a new place so that she could live with her kids for longer.
Holy shit.
So it's a really cool thing. It's Giggles and Grow. We do it each year, New York and Seattle, and we raise money online, and I just registered it as a 501c something.
Sure.
One of the nonprofits.
Yeah.
So now we're going to be able to accept larger donations. That'll be tax write-offs, and I'm hoping to build it into something really big. So look for that, people.
So 2019's is...
Usually we do them around October.
Okay.
So it's a couple months out. We're looking at venues right now in New York. Seattle, the Comedy Underground there has been so generous, and they have given me 100% of the door each time to give to the families. So
awesome.
It's been great. It's been really great. So we'll keep it at the Underground as long as we can, and then hopefully we expand past that and build it into a bigger thing. And our goal is now to not find a specific family and then do the show for them, but to do a bunch of shows, make a big pot of money, and then be able to disperse it.
Yeah.
So we're sort of changing the model around. I got a little bit of help on that.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Can't be. Wow. That's congratulations, man. That's really cool.
It feels good to do something for other people.
Yeah.
You know?
About 6 months ago, I found out there's a guy that I play softball with. And if people don't just initial reaction meeting this guy, people are like, what a dick. Like, he's just loud and obnoxious and like rips on like his, rips on his friends right to their face constantly.
A ball buster
with our wives, like almost inappropriately. For real, Joe. Like, if he wasn't, how do you? We all have a friend like this, don't we? We all have a friend like this.
He's Donald Trump.
Yeah. However, he volunteers once a month at a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, just gives. And
totally.
It's like, it doesn't...
You know why?
...fit with...
So he can hit on your wives. That's what he's doing.
I guess you get a pass.
Yeah.
I guess.
All right.
I guess.
All right. Talk about her cans. Fine.
That is actually what he talks about.
Oh, yeah?
Joe, what has he said to you? I haven't even said his name. You know who I'm talking about.
Of course. Everybody knows him. His name's Lewis Lee.
That's... I saw this thing, Valentine's Day is a little over less than a month from now. Jeez, like 15, 16 days or something like that from now, Valentine's Day. I'm sure you're ready like I am.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Completely. There's a zoo, the Bronx Zoo, I think it is. It's doing a thing where you can go to their website and they will let you name. They're doing a list. You can name a cockroach that they have after X of yours.
Well, the nice part about New York City is you can just name cockroaches all day. Like, they're everywhere. Just walking through the subway like, Bill, Jeff, Kyle. It's... name...
You can actually see them clocking in for work.
Yeah, exactly. Name a cockroach. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
But I agree. It is one of the dumbest things.
And
I've
you
ever
can name them for whom?
Well, they're doing
they
it,
pitching it as
for your ex. If you're gonna,
for your ex.
If you're planning on spending Valentine's Day alone, why not name a cockroach after your ex? It'll make you feel good. Fill that little empty spot in your heart.
I do like how even the zoo's like, these things are pieces of shit.
right. This is my favorite part of it. Is they have it on the advertisement or the memo on their website. It says, "Would you like to put your ex's first name only?"
Oh. We can no full names. We don't want slander charges. That's hysterical.
It made me think of the commercial they've brought back. We had a baby, it's a boy, like the Geico.
Oh yeah, totally.
Phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one's going out to my ex-girlfriend. Her name is Joan Collins. Yeah, that's her full first name. You know. Sorry, could you spell that out?
Yeah.
Joanc.
And then just a little space. And then, can you write a bunch of numbers? She has a bunch of numbers in her name, too. It's 646-732-8436.
Yeah, so... do you have an ex that pops in your mind of like, oh, what if that would be the one?
No, there's never been anybody that I don't like, or that I didn't want to be with them, but they're fine people.
There's no bitterness still somewhere.
I'm not good at bitterness.
Good.
I don't hold on to a lot. I keep most of that for my dad. I keep that for my family.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if you want bitterness, you just gotta. Why extend that to strangers when you have blood relatives that have?
Yeah. Well, So last time you were here, first time was episode 5.
Oh yeah,
with that father of yours.
With Dad, yeah, with Elliot Max.
The next time was episode 193.
Oh wow,
that was March of 2016.
Okay.
And now here we are. Last day of January 2019.
And what number is this?
This is 326. You've been on 5, 193, and 326.
Okay. I want to make sure that when I come back, I want to be on 666. I want to be on that one. Mark of the Devil.
We'll reserve that.
And we'll just do table reads. I'll come up with advertisements for Satan.
We'll be recording that one at 1 a.m., not 1 p.m.
Yeah, yes, of course. Yeah, with a pentagram and a Ouija board. Dear Dark Lord.
Yeah, nothing but candles in here. Boy, Dana Gould's name came up before we started recording. And when he was here a few months ago, he had just 2 or 3 days prior, he attended a seance.
Oh, really?
In Los Angeles, yeah.
Yeah? That sounds very Dana Gould.
Yeah.
I so don't believe in any afterlife that I just find that shit hilarious.
Yeah.
There's just nothing. There's no excitement. I think when I was younger and I kind of had some maybe it's a possibility. There's an element of I could entertain that.
Yeah.
And now I just find it silly. It's just and especially grown-ups. If you're like a 13-year-old girl, I get it. You try. I want to talk to the afterworld and see if there's a boy out there that's perfect. And then.
How about it's like the fortune teller in Pee-wee's Big Adventure? Where's my bike?
Yeah.
The Alamo. In the basement. I believed in fortune telling until 1986 when I saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I was like, that was a crock of shit.
Oh yeah, that was Pee-wee's Big Adventure, blew it all open for you. That was some incredible investigative reporting. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That was really.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let's go back. I want to talk a little bit more about your album. It's available everywhere.
Everywhere. You can buy it at bodegas. You can buy it off the taco guy on the street. There's a lot of places to get it, but you should probably just get it at iTunes or Amazon or something like that, or do Pandora. Do the Pandora thing. You can do it on Spotify. There's a homeless guy in the corner. He's hawking them for me.
How do we get the most money in your pocket?
Well, probably purchasing it, but Pandora's a good one for comedians. If you, I'm learning more and more about the streaming stuff. Okay. Spotify screws you hard. Okay. Yeah, Spotify, they don't pay you, basically. Spotify, you get potato chips. If you get enough, if you get 100 million streams, they'll send you a bag of potato chips. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal.
Oh, I like chips.
No, Pandora pays comedians about 10 times what Spotify pays them. And
Wow.
which is a significant amount. So if you have a friend or if you have a comedian that you like, go on Pandora and upvote them and, get them in front of more people.
So I don't remember which of those services it was, but Kermit Apio, who I know you know, was here a few weeks ago, and his stuff had been streaming for quite some time, and he didn't know and wasn't getting paid.
Oh, did he not sign up for Sound Exchange?
Well, he got retro, or whatever, but had to.
Yeah,
it was kind of a stink he had to throw to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. If you ask Kermit,
I will. He's the nicest man in show business.
You talked. Absolutely. It's weird, you say that, and everybody says that, and I wanted to say something like that when I was trying to promote that episode, but then you're like, he's so nice. Like, I'm not saying that because he's not funny. It's like,
no, he's funny.
Like, he's funnier than he's nice. No, he's nicer than he is funny. Like, is she hot? Well, she's funny. No, she's hot and funny.
That is one of those the greatest comedian insults you can give. Is he funny? Oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't.
Totally.
I don't want to take away how funny he is.
Yeah,
it's crazy how nice he is.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also crazy how funny he is. Like, it's both. But yeah, I actually ran into a club owner recently that did not like him. I know, and I was like,
here.
No, and I was like, immediately I was like, well, I don't think I should work here anymore. Like, I don't know. It's not my career. His reputation isn't my career, but like, I called to Kermit and I was like, hey, what's the deal with this? And he told me the whole story, and I was like, wow, these people are nuts.
I'm assuming it was a misunderstanding.
Oddly enough, kind of, but I think these people are just crazy.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Sometimes people are crazy.
Yes, they are. Like the guy I saw that they showed on the news last night walking out in his shorts. Did you see that? Kind of went viral yesterday.
Oh,
in Minneapolis. He was walking outside in his shorts, and somebody, I don't know what media outlet took the picture. They went up and asked him for his name.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't give his name because my mom will be mad at me.
That is a good Minnesota boy. That's what he is.
I do have a message for the guy, and it's always a guy, young guy who thinks they're going to wear shorts year round. Who are you proving that to? We
had a buddy, Lang Reynolds, who was a cyclist. He actually became a professional cyclist, cycled all through Europe and stuff like that. He was a pretty amazing athlete. And in high school, he would wear shorts year round. And the joke was always, when it snowed out, he put on 2 pairs of shorts. Oh, it's getting cold. I got 2 or 3 pairs of shorts on now. Oh, yeah. I got 4 T-shirts on now. Oh, yeah. I don't know what that thing is.
That's funny. That's like, you know what? I decided to put on 2 vests.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just keep that midsection nice and warm. I don't care if my arms fall off. Yeah, I'm not a teenager anymore. I don't need them.
It's called layering, and my mom told me to do this.
It's always a dude. The ladies are smarter than us. But no, because they dress up in those dresses.
I was going to say.
On Tuesday night, there was some girl decked out, like super low cut, like short dress. And I'm like, what? It's negative 30 degrees.
Was she wearing boots as well, though?
I think she brought in shoes and changed them. Like, I'm
going to change in the bathroom.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? I don't understand what it was. She was like, it's my birthday. Or like, which 20s birthday is this? Because this is not a woman in her 30s.
No. No. I was driving around with somebody the other day I was working with. He's like, hey, stop at the gas station here. I need to run in. All right. So I didn't need to go. I waited outside. He took longer. That's a whole other story. He took a lot longer than it should have in the store. Let's talk about misunderstandings. In any case, I was waiting outside for him for like 5, 6, 7 minutes. I got to watch a woman. This was Tuesday when it was, the first day of the ridiculous cold.
Yeah.
I watched her. This is priceless. She had a brand new pack of cigarettes. I watched her,
pack
them, grab one out, go in her purse for some matches. Joe, ask me how many matches it took her to light that cigarette.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. I heard you saw a lady outside of a store in brutal cold weather.
Brutal cold.
Yeah, brutal
I was sitting
cold.
in my heated
and you were
car
seeing,
watching
yeah,
it.
and you were cold sitting in the car. I've got a question for you. Did she use matches?
She used matches.
And how many matches?
You know, one would have been like, all right, she's got her act together.
She's a pro.
There's no. It may have been the first time she'd ever seen matches.
Oh, yeah.
8. It took her 8.
8 matches, which brings us to our first sponsor of the episode, Lighters.
Lighters.
We're proud to be sponsored by Lighters on this show. Are you smoking outside in the cold? Do you have a horrible addiction that causes you to go out in the freezing cold and just stand there for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Try Lighters. They won't let you down.
Yeah.
Lighters.
She was trying to like do it. There was no there was no blocking. Like she wasn't using one hand to block the wind.
Yeah.
She was doing the fold over of the matchbook.
Yeah.
So doing that with one hand and then just putting in the middle and then just holding the match up and like sucking super hard to get that thing lit. 8 matches.
That's great.
So if you do that math, it took 8 matches to light one cigarette. 160? Is that right? To light the whole pack?
I don't even know how many are in a pack. I've never smoked. 20.
Yeah.
20. 8 times 20. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
160 matches.
160 matches.
To smoke that pack.
She's like, wow, this smoking is expensive. The cigarettes are fine, but the amount of matches I go through, that is crazy. I mean, you'd think that they'd make these a little better. They'd think they'd make something. Well, hopefully she listens to this podcast and she goes and buys something from our first sponsor of the episode.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I want to go back to, you brought up, we've just mentioned your dad briefly. He, in fact, is one of the, I think, if I remember this correctly, that time you guys were both here together, episode 5, he had was he vaping back then? Did he have
I think
think he's one of the first people I ever saw like vaping.
Oh, he
was really early adopter. Right?
He got into it right away. Yeah, he's a big fan of new technologies.
Okay,
and also new drugs.
Yeah,
he really wants to get them all in, and so that was a perfect combo for him. He was one of those guys that like before people were like, you can't do that in here. He was in the airport once, and somebody saw him do that, and then like a cop, and he's like, hey, you can't do, and the cop was like, wait, but that's not. I don't even know what that. You know what? Keep going.
I'm unsure.
Yeah, I don't know the rules on this one. I thought you were smoking, but you're not. I don't understand this. Okay, just keep going. Keep walking. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Well,
apparently there was tons of confusion when those first came out.
Yeah.
Tons of confusion.
Totally. And now all the kids do it. Apparently, like, it's a huge problem in the teen community.
Joe.
Is vaping.
I'm so worried about that. But
how old are your kids?
12 and 10.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So they're just ripe for the vaping age.
I'm super scared.
Yeah.
Among many other things, but yeah.
Yeah.
But no, let's how's Elliot? How's your dad doing? That's what I want to get to, Joe.
No, come on. You don't want to talk about how scared you are of your children? I'm terrified of my kids. Oh.
And I know you have daughters as well.
I have daughters, yeah.
Me too.
I don't know how my dad's doing. He hasn't talked to me in a couple of years.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So nothing. Things haven't changed since last time.
It's a nice dysfunctional family. You know what I mean?
I mean, you gave some updates, some jaw-dropping updates the last time you were here.
Yeah. And then, things got a little bit better. And then a couple months, maybe 6 months ago, just nobody's heard from him. So I don't know what he's doing.
You don't know what he's doing?
I hope he's okay.
Okay.
he's a damaged soul, and we all pray for him, if you will.
Sure.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things where he had a great joke, one of my favorite jokes of his, and it so applies to our family too. He goes, I come from a dysfunctional family. Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't talked to any of those assholes in years.
Was that one from early in the career, or?
Yeah,
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't come from a lot of healthy relationships. I was not modeled a lot from my early days. But I do. Yeah, I got the 2 kids though. I got the 2 kids as well. 2 daughters. You got what?
Yeah, 2 daughters.
2 daughters.
Yep.
Yeah, that is.
10, yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm right behind you, and it's they're so wonderful right now, and it's so interesting because I look at them. It's weird to know that something's going to turn so bad. Something so good is going to turn so bad so soon. It's like looking at a time bomb, and there's no wires you can cut. You're just buckle up, buddy.
I know.
And you're right there, like the counter's ticking down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you look so scared right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... Oh, man. Yeah. It's... I can't... I don't even... It's, I could start it on, like, people have done it. Start other podcasts just talking about parenting. Sometimes I think I could do that because it's and it would be more therapy of just me going, oh shit, what am I gonna
Totally.
What are we gonna
I remember, like, even right before I had kids, I thought somebody knew what to do as a parent. Right? Because people write books, but even the people that write books have no clue because it's constant. You're working with mercury. It doesn't matter what you do to it; it's gonna ball up in its own form. It's gonna come back together. You can't truly shape or mold it.
No,
it's just. You just gotta hope that you do not contaminate it with other shit.
I oftentimes I'll listen back to episodes of the podcast before somebody comes back.
Okay.
So I've been doing that for years now.
Yeah.
And I listened back to one recently, and I don't remember who the guest was. Doesn't matter. But I said something to the guest I'm trying really hard to turn my daughters mold them into little nerds.
Yeah.
That was probably 4 years ago. What a fool for thinking that I have any influence. I mean, tiny. There's a tiny bit. I introduce them to things like Star Wars.
Totally.
And football.
Yeah.
Like professional sports and stuff like that. They know it exists. They got a taste.
Totally.
It didn't change the fact that neither of my daughters
do not give a
watch
shit.
Football with me.
Totally.
Has not, I tried, didn't have. They just don't have it in them. It wasn't my fault that I did or didn't. It's just you have no control.
Well, that was what having
whatsoever.
That was what having the second kid did to me because I would say like that's the kid that kicks you into realizing that you have no control.
Yeah.
Right? Because my first kid was a saint. She is the sweetest little girl on the planet. She cares for other people almost to a fault. Like, it's one of those things where I have to tell her, like, you have to take care of yourself, too. Like, don't just, like, she's so sweet. And I was like, man, I'm really crushing this parent thing. Like, I kind of got this down, I make good kids. People, like, all of her teachers, like, oh, my God, she's the greatest. We just want a classroom full of hers. And I'm like, I'm the best. I'm such a good dad.
Yeah.
And then I had a second kid. I'm like, this kid is a terror. There's no talking to her.
Yeah.
She just does not give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about her. Yeah. And she's on her own, and she's going to do what she wants to do. And she doesn't give a shit what her teachers say or her parents. And what's funny is, like, the first one's going to be okay because she's going to study hard, and she's going to work hard, and she's going to go to college, and she's going to do all the right things. The second one's going to be okay because she's not going to take shit from anybody. Yeah. She's going to, like... I've got a scientist and a mob boss that I live with, and they're gonna both be fine. I hope. I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
How is it raising them you're living in New York?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How's that?
Well, it's interesting because I didn't grow up there,
right?
And so I think it's a good thing for me as a parent because I don't get to just do what happened to me. I don't get to I don't get to go, well, I went to this school and did this way, so you get to do this way, right? There's none of that. So I'm in a completely different environment with totally different sets of rules, and so I truly have to think about all of the different elements of it, which I think makes me a better parent. But I think it's a really cool thing for them because they truly grow up around everybody, all different types of people. What's interesting, they hate the car. They don't want to sit in a car. Oh. They want to ride the trains. They want to take public transportation.
You guys have a car?
Yeah, we have a car. And because road work and stuff, you got to have a car.
Sure.
But then you watch them sort of develop these other skill sets too, reading maps because you have subway maps all over the place, and then so they're pretty good about that. And then all the numbers in our neighborhood it's a grid. And so they know if I'm on 14th and 6th how to get home now because they've talked about the grid and they know how to do all that stuff. And it turns them into different.
Smart.
Yeah, totally. And it's really it's fun and interesting. And then they know about, of course, it's a lot of streets, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of it's a totally different world, and so they are really turning into interesting kids because of it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now you, I don't know if there's any science behind this, but you followed your father into the business he did for a living.
Yeah.
What if we had to follow one of our parents into their career? First, I want to ask, what did your mom do?
Okay, my mom was, for the most part, a stay-at-home mom when I was young.
Okay.
And then she taught preschool.
Okay.
So that was what she did.
Could you have done either of those?
Well, I could teach preschool, maybe. I mean, I like coloring, you know?
It's not teaching.
It's not teaching. It's babysitting, really. I mean, glorified.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, stay-at-home. See, I kind of do some stay-at-home stuff, you know, because when I'm not on the road, it's, you know, wake up early, make some lunches, you know, send the kids off, pick them up at school. So I do a little bit of that, but man, if I don't go on the road for like 3 weeks, I start itching. I'm like, I got to get out of Dodge. This is not okay.
Okay.
I got to get out and sleep in one day and just not deal with people needing everything from, you know, Dad! I can't, I need a couple of minutes of quiet, please.
Now, how about, let's do it for your kids. What if they had to follow either you or your wife?
Well, I hope that they follow my wife because she's a doctor. And, but both, like Lola, my oldest, when she was 5, she wrote her first joke. And it was a good joke, and I was blown away. She's doing her math book. She was ahead of her grade in a lot of different studies, and so we got her new books to challenge her.
Okay.
So instead of doing her regular homework, we had a second grade math book, and so she would go in and do second grade math stuff. And so she's sitting there doing her math book, and I walk through the dining room, and she goes, Dad, I think I just came up with a joke. And I go, okay, yeah, what do you got? And I figure it's going to be something real dumb, you know, like elephant and then poop,
Right.
You know.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah, exactly. So then she goes, hey, Dad, I think this is a joke. What did one math book say to the other math book? And I go, I don't know. She goes, well, we got problems. And I was like, holy shit, that's a great joke. She was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And then after that, of course, she got praised for it. So now she's like, Dad, I think I got another joke.
Oh, boy.
And they're all terrible. But she likes acting. She likes science. She started studying, when she was about 3, she asked my wife to see a heart. And so my wife showed her a diagram of a heart. And then she was like, no, like a real heart. And then so she showed her a picture of a real heart. She's like, no, like a moving, beating, like a heart, you know?
Ew.
And so my wife was like, well, we could probably watch a YouTube video, open heart surgery, but it might be a little rough. So, and she was like, I want to see it. And so I was like, okay, put it on. And she was like, at any point, if this is weird, you tell me to stop. And so they cut open a dude's chest, and there's a heart transplant. They're pulling a heart out and putting a heart in. And she's quiet. And my wife's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, what's that? And she's like, well, that's the aorta. Okay, cool, what's that? And by the time she was 4, she could name all the chambers of the heart, sinus rhythm, aorta, vena cava. She knew all the tools.
Holy crap.
Yeah, totally. And so she got super into watching. She would just sit in the back of our car with one of our phones and watch YouTube videos of open heart surgeries. And she could tell you, like, halfway into a surgery if it was going to be a transplant or a valve replacement or all these different things. It's crazy. And so she got super into that stuff. So my hope is that she goes in that route.
Yeah.
The little one, though.
Has she seen Doogie Howser, by the way?
She has not. We have not introduced her to the Duke. That's a good point. I should bring her into into that fold. The little one, though, wants to be funny. Whereas the big one was like, I think I can write jokes. Like, I can figure that out. The little one's like, that was funny, right? That was funny?
Yeah.
Right now she thinks swearing's real funny. So she swears, but she doesn't know how to do it right. So the other day she goes, Dad, I said Jesus, crap, fuck, poop. And I was like, okay, all right. She's like, it's funny, isn't it? And I was like, well, I don't know.
Only because you said it while we're in church.
I know. And she walked into the living room just to tell me that. Hey, Dad, it says Jesus, crap, fuck, poop. And I was like, I am. We're not going to use those words. And she's like, I'm gonna. And I was like, all right. Okay. And then she walked, of course, up to her sister. Hey, Lola, check this out. Jesus, crap, fuck, poop. And then, of course, Lola, Dad, she's swearing.
Oh! Telling on her.
Oh, she's a little rat.
Classic.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Classic.
So I don't know what they're going to be, but they terrify me.
I told you that I listened back to the last time you were here. At the very end,
yeah,
you said, next time ask me about my tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did. I must have just gotten it then.
Okay.
Yeah. I have... I have 10 tattoos.
Okay.
I have one on my back that I got when I was like 18 and one day, you know? And it was one of those, you walk into the tattoo parlor, you're like, give me that thing on the wall. Slap it on me, you know?
Yep.
I'm punk rock. It's like a shitty sun thing. It's so dumb.
I've got something similar.
Yeah.
Yep, day of.
Yeah, totally. And where'd you get yours?
Well, I'll make this quick because this is about you. But first one, in Mexico.
Oh, nice.
In my hotel room.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Where on your body is it?
That one is right here, like upper arm.
On the shoulder? Yeah. Okay.
And got one on my back a few years later.
Yeah. In Thailand by a lady boy?
No, in the locker room of the St. Paul Saints Stadium in St. Paul.
Are you just trying to get hepatitis?
You'd think so.
Yeah. So my first one was on the back, and then I did the feet. Right. I have 8 footprints across my feet, and as if someone had walked in sand, you know, that sort of thing.
Oh my God.
And everybody goes, "Oh, that must have hurt." And I go, "Yeah, it did." You know, and they're like, "I hear the feet are real bad."
Yeah.
And it turns out the worst one though was my last tattoo, and it's probably my last tattoo because my buddy has 78 tattoos, and I did this one, and he goes, "You beat me." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You beat me for like the most badass tattoo thing."
Oh no!
And so
oh no! Oh no!
I tattooed my balls.
No,
yeah, 100%. 100%. I have a tattoo on my balls that says "May contain nuts," like a warning label, and. I did.
No!
Yeah, it's 100% true. I tried to do a bit about it for a while, but everyone was just like, "Show us," you know, and you can't whip out your you whip out your balls on stage. That's the end of the show. It's not. But, I was in Denver, Colorado, and I kind of said it as a joke, and somebody was like, "You wouldn't do that." And, of course, I don't take lightly to a challenge. And so I was like, "Of course I'd do it." And he's like, "You wouldn't do it." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it. You know a guy?" And he's like, "I know a guy." And I'm like, "All right, let's give him a call."
I know a guy. It's all he does.
Yeah. Well, so we call this guy. It was, do you know Ben Roy?
The name.
Yeah, he's got a show called Those Who Can't. He's out of Denver. Very funny guy. Mm-hmm. So his big tattoo guy, we call him, his name's Jimmy, and I go, "Hey man, I want to get a tattoo. You got any walk-ins tomorrow?" And he goes, "Yeah man, I got a 5 o'clock walk-in." I go, "Okay, cool." Weird question. I want to tattoo my balls. And he goes, "Really?" Yeah. And he goes, "You know, there's a fee for anything below the belt." And I was like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, it's like a $200 minimum that just tacks on top of whatever the cost of the tattoo is."
Wow.
So I was like, "All right, man. All right." So I was like, "I'll see you tomorrow at 5." And he was like, "Sure." And I walk in and I go, "Hey, man, I'm Joe." And he goes, "I was hoping you weren't going to show up."
Yeah.
And I ask him, I go, "Have you ever done this before?" And he goes, "You know, as a tattoo artist, we want to have tattooed most different body parts because the different skin." First off, before I even did it, I would talk to people about it and go, "You think you can do it?" You know, and I said, "You can't Google it. Can you tattoo your balls? You can't Google it." And my buddy goes, "Yeah, my grandpa just tattooed his arm at 83, so I'm pretty sure." Because his arm skin and your balls probably look about the same, you know?
Did he get the elbow?
Yeah, exactly. Because we basically all turn into ball skin at a certain point. Just you're going to feel real weird next time you hug your grandfather. Hey, and
not so tight.
Yeah, so I go in and he goes, and so I said, "Oh, so you've tattooed balls?" And he goes, "Once." And I go, "Oh, whose?" And he goes, "My own." And I was like, "Oh, yeah?" And I go, "What'd you do?" And he goes, 1 dot.
No!
Yeah.
No!
So he goes, "I'm going to make a stencil, and then you go in the back. What you need to do is a bunch of jumping jacks and a bunch of push-ups and stuff like that. Get your body temperature nice and warm so we have more canvas to work with." Because you need your balls to drop down so you can stretch out the canvas.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's so funny how quickly it turned from sort of a joke to just like, just figuring this shit out. So he's like, "Take your pants off, leave your boxer briefs on, just pull the skin through. Keep as much of the other business out of the way because we don't want like a flopping on to the quote-unquote canvas getting in the way." So I'm like, "All right, man, I'll keep as much as I can back there." And then I walk out with just ball skin hanging. The guy's got a stencil that is like, I mean, it's like 9 inches by 4 inches or whatever. And I go, I don't know where you think you're putting that.
Basketball?
Yeah, I'm like, obviously, everybody says you have big balls to tattoo your balls, but they're normal sized balls.
Hey,
I'm not going to lie. And so I go, I don't know where you're going to put that. And he goes, you'd be surprised. And he has one of his buddies glove up. And he's put saran wrap over like the stool that you normally put your arm on to tattoo.
Yeah.
And he goes, what you're going to do is you're going to step up and kind of hike them up over the top and stretch them out. And then we're going to slap this stencil on. So I pull the front and the side, and the other guy pulls the other side. And sure enough, man, slaps that stencil on. And then we're just...
There weren't any vice grips to keep it in place or anything.
No, this was a manual project. This is just manual labor.
Tighten this a little.
Yeah. But man, that's what he needed. He needed to stretch, so we look, and then it turns all business. We're just in the mirror looking, I should go down a little bit and to the left and to the, whatever. And then he goes, all right, let's do this. And so I go, okay, man. He goes, what you're going to do is you're going to stretch out. We're going to do one letter at a time, right? You're going to take the skin and you're going to stretch it out as much as you can, and then you're going to dig your knuckles into this stool hard, and you're going to grit your teeth, and you're going to not move, okay, man? And I'm like, yeah, man, I got this. And so he goes, we're going to start with the S. May contain nuts, the last letter. And I go, okay. And I grit my teeth, and I shove my knuckles into this thing. And he starts, and fuck, that hurts. Oh, my God, it hurts so bad. And he finishes the S, and I walk off, and I shake it off. I'm like, I'm hitting myself. I'm trying to get myself stone cold sober. I'm trying to get myself amped up. I'm like, okay, let's do this, And I come back, and I go, okay, let's do it. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah, we got a lot more letters. And he goes, honestly, I just thought we'd have an S on your balls.
Yeah.
He goes, that's why I started with the S, so you could say it's about super balls. It's pretty clever. Not gonna lie to you. Got it all done.
He was doing you a favor.
Yeah. And then, I think the funniest part of the whole story was I didn't tell my wife about it.
Yep.
I just came
to the follow-up
came home. Hey, honey, I got a new tattoo. And she was like, you're an idiot. And I was like, yeah, but you married me, so you knew that. I mean, come on. What do you... And she goes, you think that's funny? You really think that's funny? She's upset. You think that's funny? I'm like, yeah, actually, I think it's pretty... I'm not going to lie. Well, she asked me why I did it. I said, because it's funny. And she goes, you think that's funny? I'm, yeah, of course. She goes, you think that's going to be funny when you're a grandfather? And I'm like, that's when it's hilarious. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Grandpa's got a ball tattoo. Yeah, on a hot day when he wears shorts, you can see it. It's great. That's the thing about tattoos. People always go like, oh, what's it going to look like when you're 80? Like the rest of me. Like shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not impressing a lot of people at 80.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, thank you for mentioning that at the end of the last time. And wow, I'm glad I asked.
I wish I had a teaser for the next time. I'll have to go out and do something stupid again.
Jesus, dude. Wow. I'm picturing like the... like a balloon, like if you blow up a balloon and you can like draw on it with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
And then when the air goes out, then it's all small, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You draw on a balloon, then blow it up, and it's all.
Yeah. Well, right now with the temperatures, it's a very small tattoo.
You can barely read it.
You can barely read it. It's you got to get real close.
Oh my God. Oh my God! So it's just like black, like just letters.
It's just letters. Yeah, just letters. Yeah, I was doing morning radio like 2 days later. I was in Denver
Standing?
at the Comedy Works. Oh yeah, no, I had shows that night. I was walking around a little ginger.
Yeah.
Oh, and so I was doing morning radio, and the guy's like, "How's Denver?" And I'm like, I got a tattoo. And I told him the whole story, and he was like, okay, man, you got to show me. And I was like, sure. And so I whipped out my balls on morning radio, and of course, like the whole studio goes nuts. And
I bet they've been replaying that for years.
Oh my gosh! And it was honestly, it was one of the best piece of morning radio I've ever done.
Oh, I guarantee it.
People are showing up to the show. They're like, "You did that? What?"
Yeah.
I was driving traffic to that club like nobody's business.
Absolutely. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
I guarantee that. We should have done this a little bit ago. Hopefully, people are sticking with us. We were doing a new thing here, Joe. We're offering people $5 tickets.
Okay.
To see you.
Nice.
So if they've been listening this far, they get rewarded if they want to come to your show tomorrow night.
Yeah.
February 1st, 10:30 show.
February 1st, 10:30 show.
They need to call the club, 612-338-6393. And
what's that number again?
612-338-6393.
Once again with that number.
And the code we're going to use that people need to give is nuts.
Nuts.
How about that? Nuts.
How about, can you say may contain nuts? Can we do the whole thing?
Sure.
Are you just doing nuts?
Okay.
Is it you just got to say it?
Yeah,
Okay.
may contain nuts.
So you got to call the comedy club.
Yep.
And you got to say, I'd like $5 tickets
For the 10:30 show.
for the 10:30 show.
Friday night.
Joe
Larson.
May contain nuts.
Yep.
Yes.
And you are getting $5
Oh,
tickets.
you know what? That should be the name of my next album. Is May Contain Nuts.
Yeah.
I could take a picture. You know, just put it, slap it around. It'd be great if it was real zoomed in, so you didn't know what it was. It just looked like, who tattooed that elephant skin?
Yeah, right. I saw something like that on Twitter this morning. It was a hey, fool people into thinking that you're on vacation, and it was a picture. Somebody took a picture of like in between the handle of like a bleach container, and it looks like the window on an airplane if you just do it from an angle.
There you go. That's a real sad life.
Well,
That's a real sad life if that's your big weekend plans.
It definitely is. So may contain nuts. $5 tickets. There you go. This is a podcast that you're doing right now. You have your own podcast.
I do.
Let's talk about
it's
that
called
a little bit.
Joe and Andy Save the World,
Okay.
where every week we attempt to solve one of the world's greatest problems. We usually get lost bullshitting and forget to do it. But each week we attempt. We get drunk and forget. But it's a very funny podcast. The most recent one, we play different games. The most recent one we did was we went back through all of Bill Cosby's albums and we renamed them, considering what has come to light about his character, right? Because he was America's favorite dad, right? He was America's dad,
Absolutely.
and he was it turns out he's a goddamn monster.
Yeah.
And so. We had to rename some of the albums. Like, there's, of course, I grew up listening to My Brother Russell, whom I slept with. So, of course, we had to rename that one To My Brother Russell, who I drugged and raped. There's been, I don't remember. So we just went through the catalog, had different names. We've done.
Did you go through his books as well?
Oh, you know what? Maybe we got to rename those too.
Come on.
We got to rename those too.
Next episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was an author, don't forget.
Yeah, he was an author. Yeah. Oh, man. What a fall from grace.
Yeah, I just saw that because he's locked up right now.
He's in jail. I know.
Yeah.
Thank God.
They just they busted a drone flying over the prison he's in, trying to get pictures of him earlier this week.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's where TMZ can go fuck themselves. It's like one of those where I don't believe he deserves privacy, but I think it's gross to try to make money off the fact that he's in jail. I think if anybody should make money off the fact that he's in jail, it should be all of the women he victimized.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So if TMZ was going to do that, release those pictures and then send the money to those ladies, great, sure, okay, fine.
But they weren't.
No, of course
know
not. Of course not. No. It's just terrible.
So I noticed that there was kind of a dead spot in podcasts for you being.
Oh yeah, we had a little season gap. We what happened? We just got. A couple things life got real busy for a second, so we took a little break, but we're back in full force.
There's been a few this year already.
There's been a few this year. Yeah, we're going hard. We're going every other week right now.
Okay.
And we. Let's see here. The other game. We play games we also discussed recently. Apparently, back in the day, there was a bar where you could wrestle a penguin. Or no, what was it? No, you could wrestle an ape. That's what it was. We're going to bring this podcast full circle.
Oh,
look at that. We're doing the full circle podcast.
Yeah.
There was back in the 1800s, there was these bars where you could wrestle certain monkeys, right? And you'd have to pay money to wrestle these monkeys, sort of thing. And so one of our super listeners called in and he said, if you could wrestle any animal in the zoo, and you got to remember, there's an audience, so you don't want to be the one wrestling penguins, right? You don't want to be the guy who's just kicking over monkeys that are like little flightless birds. You actually want something that you can brag about.
Sure.
What animals would you fight in the zoo? And so we discuss these sorts of topics, and we have people call in and weigh in on theirs, and it's a good time. If you could fight any animal, what would you fight?
Peacock.
See, you're one of those assholes. You're gonna kick like the most beautiful thing in the.
They're dicks.
But they're gorgeous.
Fine.
They're gorgeous.
No one's beating them up. They need a...
You think they need respect?
Yeah.
You're like that one comedian. You should hit your kids. Everybody gotta hit their kids. Yeah. I did it in that voice because that's usually the voice it's coming from.
Bernie Mac had that joke. You hit your kid in the stomach.
Hit your kid. Yeah. You gotta hit your kid. Yeah. I don't hit my kids.
No.
I want to. That's the thing that I didn't realize is that I felt like a bad parent recently because I was like, I just had one of those situations where they're just screaming in your face and you can't do anything. And I was like, I could destroy you. And I was like, you don't know the power I have that I'm not using on you.
That's right.
You don't know how kind I'm being. You know. You don't understand the diplomacy. I just wanted to smack him so bad because we were at the playground and they just screamed at my face. And this woman, I did not know her. I didn't know who she was. She just leaned in, never met her, and just kind of whispered in my ear. She goes, "Don't you wish you could hit him?" And I was like, "I'm not alone. I'm not alone." Oh, it's so great.
Do you ever? Did you ask her that?
Yeah.
What do you want to confess to, lady?
Yeah.
Love it. I saw in the back there you have some T-shirts.
Yes.
Selling those after the show.
Selling those after the show, yes.
Okay.
They correlate with the album.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of fun. They're beautiful T-shirts. You want one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go back there and snack one. Yeah.
Well,
Rep that merch. Okay,
No,
good. Excellent.
I'm kidding.
They've been selling like hotcakes. I'm actually pretty proud of them. I like them.
It's the album cover?
It's close to it.
Okay.
Yeah, the album is called Emotional Support, and one of the jokes that I have, one of the punchlines is, "This is my emotional support scotch." Mm-hmm. And it's a bottle of scotch that says "Emotional Support Scotch, do not pet." It's funny as I'm coming up with this merch stuff. It's funny how like people will weigh in with like ideas. You know, they'll be like, "Oh, you know what you should do," and you know, it's 9 times out of 10, it's real dumb. Mm-hmm. My wife is like, "You should private label scotch," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah. I mean, that's a great idea if I wasn't going into bars where they have their own booze." And like, who's at a comedy show like, "I'm buying scotch." It's like a $50 bottle of scotch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a commercial last year for Lafroig, which was fun, which is a scotch.
Okay.
I got flown to London. I didn't know what it was for.
Real?
Yeah. So I get this. We did this Skype interview, me and my buddy Luke, and with the producers, and they aren't telling what the thing's for. We just know it's for some kind of booze, and we get done. They're like, "Great, I think we're going to use you. We'll call you on Tuesday. Are you available next week?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool." Tuesday goes by. They're like, "Okay, we're definitely using you. We're going to send you over the paperwork, sign it, and get it back to us." Like, cool. When are we flying out? You're flying out on Monday. Okay. Can we get our flights? And they're like, yeah, we'll get them to you eventually. So Sunday night, I get an email. Here's your flights. Like, it was so last minute. So we're like, okay, this is a weird situation. We don't know who we're working for. We're getting our flights last minute for an insane amount of money. We're like, you know, because they're last minute flights to London, and we're flown. So it's one of those where like I don't know if there's a high budget thing, a low budget thing. So we got flown first class over there. So I'm like, well, that's big budget.
Sure.
Get picked up in this beautiful Mercedes, drove to this kind of shitty hotel. So it was like this weird, like, is it high budget, is it low budget? Then we were given 3 days to just screw off in London and see the sights, which was awesome.
Cool.
And then on day 4, we were ushered into a cafe for makeup and wardrobe, and I'm like, that's weird. We had to bring our own wardrobe because us playing us. I'm like, that's low budget.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. But then we go to the sound studio, and I see the setup. It's ultra high budget. It's 5 cameras on the red. It's like, you know, It's just all these, you know, a bunch of jibs and things like that. This huge sound studio. It's beautiful. So I'm like, okay, what are we doing? And so the thing was you're going to sit at this bar for an hour. There's a white cylinder on the bar, and under that white cylinder is a bottle of some type of liquor. You're going to take the cylinder off, and then you're going to drink, and you're going to talk about it, and we'll kind of direct you once you start rolling. But the only rule is even if you have had it, pretend like you haven't. That's the only rule.
Yeah.
And so like, cool. So we take the top off of this, and it's Lafroig, which I love. And I was like, sweet, I'm getting paid to drink Lafroig. This is fantastic. And we just sat there and got schnockered for an hour. Had the best time ever. And then they sobered us up for about an hour upstairs. Had, craft service. And then we came back down, and they shot it from behind for an hour. So we just drank all day. And then those commercials, you'll see them all over the place. They're all internet commercials.
Really?
So, yeah, they're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They're on, anytime you're on YouTube. I get so many text messages and emails. I saw your commercial, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. How did and they paid you in cash, not in alcohol?
Yes, yeah, I know. I did ask. I was like, "Hey, can I get like wholesale prices on this?" And they're like, "We're just the commercial company. We aren't actually
right.
Lefroy." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." It was funny because like it was I think 4 or 5 couples, because me and my buddy Luke, and then there was a husband and wife, and then there's a couple of other 2 girls that were, so they paired everybody up. And there's a guy there just to wipe the glasses down, make sure the bottle looks right, make sure it's filled up to the right amount because it can't look too not full. And so that's his whole job, is just kind of refilling and wiping down the glasses and doing that sort of thing. And about halfway through the shoot, he comes back, and there's 2 of the girls, 2 of the other couples are sitting there, and he turns to him and goes, "These fellas have drank more than all of the rest of the people combined." And my buddy Luke just doesn't really drink at all, so I was just smashing scotch. I was like, "This is the best day of my life. I'm having a great time."
Where's the next one?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got into a fight within 12 minutes of being in London, or almost a fight.
I thought you were going to say from leaving the commercial.
Yeah, you would think.
Invincible.
You would think.
Yeah.
So we get to Shoreditch, which is a good neighborhood. It's sort of like a upscale, fancy, used to be shitty neighborhood. So we get to Shoreditch, and we land late at night, and I just go to bed, wake up the next day. Luke's like, "You want to grab some breakfast?" I go, "Yeah." We leave the hotel. We get 2 blocks from the hotel, and this guy bumps into me and turns around and goes, "Oi, you walked in my path." And I'm like, "What? I'm sorry, I didn't, And he's like, "Yeah, you walked in my path. What? And I'm like, he gets right in my face, really aggressive. I go, "I'm sorry, man. I'm not from around here. I don't know how this works. Maybe it's a, right side of the road, left side of the thing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble,
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, you're sorry from where, huh?" And he's right in my face, and I go, trying to defuse the situation. I go, "Oh, from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry from the bottom." And he didn't think that was funny at all. He goes, "Oh, you're a yank, huh? You're a fucking yank. You think you're funny?" And I'm like, "I'm not trying to be funny, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm brand new to this town. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry if I got in your way, man. I'm not trying to cause trouble."
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "Oh, you think you're tough?" And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "You work out?" And I'm like, "I mean, yeah, I guess, He goes, you like lift weights?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Because you got a nice body. You look like you look strong. You look like you got a nice body." And I'm like, "Wait, are you hitting on me now?" Like, he went from like aggressive to sexually aggressive, which is wildly confusing. I'm like, "What? I don't." And then he goes, "You got nice teeth." And I'm like, "What?" I go, "Oh, thank you."
I really like your pants.
Yeah, totally. And then he goes, "You have had him knocked in your fucking face." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus. Okay, we're back. We're back there."
Great setup, bro.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah. I was like, at first I was like, I didn't know. Should I fight him or fuck him? And yeah. After he said that, I was like, well, I got to fuck him. So I kissed him. Because that is the one way to defuse a fight. The fight, 2 males fighting, especially like white 20-something dudes, is the most homoerotic thing you'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they get right up in each other's faces, just touching chests, almost making out.
Yeah.
One of them takes their shirt off.
Yeah.
They start asking consent. "You want to do this?
Yeah.
You want to do this, bro?" So my strategy now is, if somebody does that to me, I just go yes, and I kiss them, and then they stop immediately. It's just which is, I feel like, if we can learn anything, I think if we move forward as society, it's love over hate.
Sure.
And
where's the next place you'll be visiting?
Yeah.
I want to know, where are you bringing peace next?
Where am I bringing peace next? I got Vegas coming up. I'm going to be at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Vegas. I got a run of theaters next week in Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. All dates you can find on my website, joelarssoncomedy.com. And if you want to see me, come down tomorrow night. Call the club. Tell them that you want to come to the 10:30 show. It's $5.
Mm-hmm.
The code may contain nuts.
May contain nuts.
Check out Joe and Andy Save the World, the podcast, and then go on Pandora or buy my album, Emotional Support.
Perfect.
I love each and every one of you. Oh, and then don't forget to support our sponsor, lighters.
Plastic lighters.
Plastic lighters.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, buddy.
Let's end it there. That was awesome.